Vikram-S, India's first privately developed rocket, was successfully launched into space on November 18th. It was a joint effort by ISRO and Hyderabad-based startup Skyroot Aerospace. In conversation with TNIE, Sai Divya, founder of N-Space Tech, mastermind behind one of its payloads, CubeSat Lakshya Sat-2, talks about her experience of being a part of the historic moment.
Hello and welcome to the New Union Express. I'm Bandhavi Anna. Today here with us is N-Space Tech founder Sai Divya Kurapati, the brains behind the payload Lakshya Sat-2 carried in Vikram-S, India's first privately developed rocket that was launched into space successfully on November 18 from Sriharikota. First of all, congratulations, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
So how does it feel to be part of such a great achievement?
It feels so elated for me. I'm so happy being a part of this historic moment. This is the first time a private organization has done that and has successfully sent a rocket to the space. Yeah. And being a small part of that big achievement itself is happy moment for me.
Okay. So, ma'am, where are you from and what is your educational background?
I'm from Tenali. Okay. Our native place is Tenali. I have completed all my schooling, everything in Tenali itself, and I did my electronics and communication engineering in Bapatla Engineering College. Okay. Later, after that, I completed my MTech in communication and radar systems in KL University. Okay. And then currently, I'm doing PhD. I'm a PhD research scholar in satellite communication, again in the KL University.
So, yes. From starting, you always wanted to construct or build a satellite, right?
No, initially I'm actually very much fascinated about space. The space itself is a very broad area. Yeah. There are so many things that we can actually do in the field of space. I was not I haven't narrowed my field to satellites in the initial phase, but I used to follow the rocket launches and I used to read so much about cosmos, stars, everything. I read books from Neil deGrasse Tyson and many other books related to space. So after that, when I am studying my masters, during my masters, I happened to attend a workshop on CubeSats. Okay. It was conducted by a professor from US. He came and he actually brought a one new CubeSat, real satellite, to that workshop. And okay. After attending that workshop, after seeing the satellite, real satellite, I came to know that it is not that difficult to build that one. I can try at least to build one. After attending that workshop itself, I have decided to work on satellites. Okay. So I started, before working on the satellites by myself, I actually consulted few firms so that I can, if I can buy one satellite and launch it. Before building itself, I want to learn from other satellites if I can do it. I have contacted various firms in India and in US as well. The cost and everything that they have quoted was out of my range. So I then decided I started reading research papers and books related to space. Okay. And related to satellites. Once I started, there are so many open source open source satellites that are available in this domain. Okay. So I have read all the technical details related to open source satellites, open source small satellites. Using all the free content that are available in the internet, I have built one new CubeSat prototype and I have sent that to stratosphere with the help of B2 space, which is Lakshya Sat-1. So upon success, that mission was successful and it worked perfectly fine at an altitude of 26 kilometers. So once that became successful, I happened to approach Skyroot people through LinkedIn. So I got an opportunity. They told that they are building one suborbital rocket for suborbital flight, and I was so excited because the next step I wanted to go is to suborbital level. So once the high altitude balloon flight was successful, I started building one new CubeSat for suborbital flight.
Building is okay. Space science has always been your fascination since childhood, right?
Yes.
So when was that exact moment when you fell in love with science, especially space science, and you wanted to build a career in that?
particularly in science, actually, in our school, our managing director, Dasari V. Murlikant sir, he teaches physics for us. So that the way he teaches really attracts everyone towards the science. So he clearly, whatever, I still remember how he explained about the atom, the like orbits in the atom, everything. I still remember how he explained. So my fascination for science actually started after going to his classes. So from then on, I actually started reading books and articles related to science, and particularly space science. Maybe because I happened to watch a few launches rocket launches in television. So from physics to space science, after watching all those launches, I wanted to do something in the space science. That's the moment.
Coming to your startup and space tech, you have, after completing your MTech, you have worked in some space tech firms as an intern.
Yes.
Right. So to start your own space tech company, has it started from the get-go? Do you have that idea to start your own space tech company from the get-go, or did the idea evolved while you were working in those firms?
Actually, my thought of building a company, my own company, actually that began once I got to know that the players in this field are actually quoting so much for the satellite. That was the main reason for me to build a company on my own. But actually, the few startups that I have worked in as an intern, they also helped a lot. My internship days in those startups also helped me to know how a startup works. Initially, even before that, I had an idea of building a startup on my own. But after working there, how the startup works, what are the basic needs, or how the founder actually, as those are also startups in which founder themselves interacts with the students. So I got to know interact with the founders and how they actually, how much passionate they are, how they run a company. Yes, they can run a company. I got to know. So from that experience also, it became a bit easier for me to start on my own.
Okay. So most of the space tech companies, they're all located in big cities like Hyderabad, Chennai and Bangalore. But you have set up in Tenali, which is a small town.
Yes.
And it is very unusual. So what is the reason for that?
Actually, here, even though it is a small town, it is a kind of education hub. The student population here is very high. There are so many good institutions around here, and it is not. I don't think it is very difficult to find good talented people to work for to work with me in this company. So that is one reason, and also the other reason is that the main reason, actually, ours is a family business, which is a jewelry business, and there are around 300 people working with us here.
Okay.
I cannot shift all this to some other metropolitan city purely for this purpose. So those are the two reasons. The one thing is that I cannot shift that easily from here to other thing, and I also consider there is so much talent around here that will in future, actually, we are planning to shift this to Vijayawada.
Okay. So are you also part of your family business?
Yes, I'm actually a GIA, Gemological Institute of America certified jewelry designer.
Okay.
So I'm also a jewelry designer, actually.
Okay.
Before starting N-Space Tech, I used to purely go to our jewelry store, and I used to take care of the business as well. Okay. And now, after being a part of after I'm a PhD scholar, and I am a founder of this. So I'm not dedicating much time into jewelry designing, but even in my free time, I also have a 4-month-old kid.
Yeah.
So it is very difficult for me right now, but in future, as a hobby, I will not leave the jewelry design business, because it is a food for my brain. The designing and all, it is a creative work, right?
Yeah.
So whenever I need some fresh thought, I go to jewelry. Yes, relaxation. I go to that field and I design things for my jewelry firm.
Okay. What is your objective to set up N-Space Tech?
The first thing is that most of the research organizations, or most of the universities, and even the high schools they are actually want to they are interested in space science, and everybody is looking forward to build their own satellite nowadays, because the small satellite business, it has so much potential in India.
Okay.
And there are so many firms inside in India and outside India. There are so many firms that are actually looking forward to build rockets. And when it comes to small satellites, there are not that much business that is even though there is enough scope for this, there are no so many players that are there in India or in outside India in the field of small satellites. But there is so much potential in our country. I am getting so many inquiries from many universities that they want to build their own satellite for their students, because if we take the satellite one CubeSat, it is not just a space science related one. In the CubeSat, we will have to include engineers from all electronics engineers. We need programming people. So we need So we need people from mechanical, and we also need people from chemical if we have thrusters and all the that subsystem. So it is kind of combination of all those engineers working on a single project.
Okay.
So if we take this opportunity, and if we introduce the small satellite projects in various institutions, so many like universities and even small schools, the students will have students from different domains will have practical knowledge on how it happens. So if we need PCB designers. If you know how to design a PCB in a satellite, you can design the PCB for any other industry. So it includes it can be included in a curriculum of all the domains.
Okay.
So if people from all the domains collectively work on the satellite project, it will be helpful for students and the professors also to impart practical knowledge into their students. So with this idea, not only in research, even in the commercial purposes, small satellites can be used. As there is so much potential, I just wanted to help universities and even in the commercial players to get the satellites in very low price.
So have you done any projects in that regard, like helping providing satellites to education institutions like that till now?
No, we as of now we are actually in the making phase, right?
Yeah.
So our two projects are successful, and in those two projects actually I am the only one who worked on in the technical area. In the next projects, we are in contact with KL University, our university. So we are actually planning to build a student group and build a satellite on our board. So that is the next project that we are looking forward to work on. And also we are in contact with a few schools in Tenali.
Okay.
So they all wanted to include some high school students and build one high altitude balloon project. So those are on our next list. As of now, we haven't worked, but we are the next projects that we will be taking care will be based on the education purpose.
So what is your role in your company, and tell us about your staff members and what do they do?
Yes, the technical side, whatever the things that I build, I do the 3D designing, I do the circuit designing, all the technical stuff that is going through. I'm actually taking care of all the technical things, and the other co-founder, who is Raghuram Kottamasu, he takes care of if it is a company, it is not just a technical part. There are many other things that are actually that are to be included in the company, which is whatever it is, accounting, the financing, the funding, everything is being taken care of other co-founder, who is Raghuram Kottamasu.
So basically you two members are the only crew.
Yes, right.
Yeah. So as you said earlier, it includes all disciplines, right?
Yes, yes.
Mechanical, computer sciences. So how do you manage all those? You are major from electronics and communication.
Yes.
So how do you manage those?
basically the circuit designing part and the PCB designing everything. I have my discipline actually is from electronics, so the circuit designing everything is became very easy for me. The other parts like the 3D designing and all, as I told, I'm also a jewelry designer. So I happen to learn all the 3D designing from there. Even the designing in 3D for jewelry is very much more difficult than the this one, because in 3D designing in jewelry we need to have a very accurate things, but here I need to design box structures and all. So that became my previous
your skill in that
yes,
hobby.
my experience in that hobby became very helpful for 3D designing of this outside chassis. Yeah, and the whatever the other the programming actually, yes, my father he's a HOD in MCA department in Bapatla Engineering College, so I happen to learn programming from him.
Okay.
So whenever I am stuck somewhere on how to do that, I immediately go to him and ask, I'm stuck here, what to do, and he guides me. So the programming part I have my father, and I'm lucky to have a sister who is data engineer.
Okay.
So so she did her data analysis from IIM Bangalore. So course from, so she she guides me in. I get enough 3 hours of 3 hours to 4 hours of data from a high altitude balloon. So it is a kind of a huge amount, and in future I will be getting even more huge amounts of data. So whenever I'm stuck with what to do with the analysis, how to do the analysis, I have my sister Saumya Kurapati helping in that regard. So I'm lucky to have these people in my circle.
So what motivated you to build your own satellite?
I happen to go through various articles like from there are many open source satellites. So when I have gone through those open source articles and open source material that are freely available, I was so fascinated that they are generously keeping all those material free in the website.
Okay.
So if doing that, they are doing that for free, and they are actually opening that to all the audience for free. If that all the material is available for free in the online, I did not want to pay like lakhs and lakhs of people, lakhs of amounts to various firms that because I did not have that much money to for my first project. I did not want to spend that much amount for the first project. So I just wanted to use the free content available and want to build that thing on my own. Actually, the next project will be the orbital one. As of now, we have only gone through the high altitude balloon one and the suborbital flight. The next one will be orbital one. That requires a much more skillful team, and we are building a team for that purpose.
Okay, so your current project is orbital.
Current project is orbital. The current project that we are working on is orbital flight. So it will be the thing is we are building a 1U CubeSat which will be placed in Vikram-1, which the Skyroot Aerospace is building Vikram-1 rocket for orbital flight. So the next version that we are building is a 1U CubeSat that will be placed inside this Vikram-1. Hopefully, if the project is completed by the time Vikram-1 will be launched, it will be placed inside the Vikram-1 and will be sent to the orbit, lower Earth orbit. That is our current project. For that, we are actually building a new team, so that the work will be faster and more efficient.
So actually, you have sent already Lakshya-Sat-1 into stratosphere, and it was launched successfully.
Yes.
Was it your first project?
Yes, Lakshya-Sat was my first project. I have sent that to UK. The company B2 Space has launched successfully to the stratosphere with the help of high altitude balloon. That was my first project.
Okay. So how is it useful to the people? I mean,
it is basically useful for the research purposes. So it has various sensors like temperature, humidity, pressure, altitude, TVOC, CO2. All the sensors were placed inside the satellite. Inside the payload. that was sent to the stratosphere. So the whatever the parameters that it measured, whatever the data that it was collected, it will be helpful. Actually, I used that for my PhD thesis. So for all the research people who are working in that domain, in the space domain, that data can be used and for the to study the stratosphere. But in future, when we are talking about the lower Earth orbit, we are actually planning to have achieve two-way communication. That will be used as a commercial purpose to the not only to the education institutions. We want to be helpful for the commercial purposes, the two-way communication. Like if there is any disaster and if there are no communication that are available, we can actually help with the help of this. We can actually achieve the two-way communication. We can send some emergency messages to our friends, and when we are going for trekking or some to a place where the internet is not that available, or there are no other signals, no other network signals, we can actually these kind of services are already available in US, and very few are available in India, I think. We want to make it more accessible
So
with the help
can
of
be used during
emergencies, and to the places, if we are going to places like mountain hill areas where the network is not available, and we just want to send a short message to our family members that we are fine. This can also be used.
So how is it different? How is Lakshasat 1 different from Lakshasat 2?
Lakshasat 1 actually it only had few subsystems, and it actually what happened is that it had a data logging system, and whatever the data that was collected, once we retrieve the payload, then we'll collect the data, and then we can use that data. In the Lakshasat 2, we have changed the communication subsystem in such a way that it will send the data to the ground station. That's the thing, and also we to accommodate that in a very low weight, we have even changed a few other subsystems so that the weight of the entire payload will be lesser.
What is the purpose of Lakshasat 2 in Vikram-S? How did it contributed to Vikram-S?
Vikram-S actually took 3 payloads to the space. Out of those 3 payloads, 2 are from Indian companies, and one is from a foreign organization. So out of those 2 from India, one is from N-Space Tech. So whatever the purpose of the rocket is to take payloads to the space. So that out of that purpose, we have actually served sending one payload to the space.
So, like Lakshasat 1, does Lakshasat 2 also, they record the humidity and all
yes, but
parameters?
They record, but the main objective is to test it. So, the next version will be sent to the lower Earth orbit. So, before sending the payload to the lower Earth orbit, we just wanted to test if the chassis and everything can withstand in the harsh space environment. Whatever the electronics that are there inside the Lakshasat, we just wanted to test if that can withstand in the space environment. That is the main purpose of us sending it to with the help of Vikram-S. And that purpose has been served. So we are happy that the whole mission, not only that payload, the whole mission was successful, and we are so happy with that. Yes.
So how much time did it take for you to build the payload?
The initial Laksha sat, it took around 9 months, and the second version it took around 6 to 7 months for me to build.
In those 7 months, you were pregnant, and the postpartum period.
Yes.
So how did you manage all this?
Yes, during pregnancy, it became delayed. Actually, the Skyroot people were so generous to give extra time for me. Actually, I took the final, even after the final date, I took few more weeks to complete that, because of the thing that is going on because of the pregnancy and the postpartum period. It was a bit difficult, because I have a kid who needs constant constant care from me. So whenever she's sleeping, I used to work. So somehow I have managed. So it took 7 months. I thought it will be completed even in very less time, because it is a next version of the previous version, and but because of the all this that is happening in my personal life, it took a few more months to get completed.
Okay. So tell me about your favorite memory in your career.
Actually, the latest one, I happened to watch the rocket launch, which is Vikram-S, from the Mission Control Center in Sriharikota, ISRO. I actually, visiting ISRO itself was an emotion for me. And directly going to the Mission Control Center and interacting with so many passionate intellectuals from the sky route, and watching various dignitaries from ISRO. I have never expected that that kind of moment will come in my life. That was very memorable. It will be a very memorable throughout my life.
So what do you enjoy most about your job and least?
The most I am creating something that will go to space, and contributing something in the space science, in the space thing. That itself makes me very happy. If whatever I am creating, whatever that is there in my mind, in next few days I will be able to see as a product. So that my thought will be created as a product in the next few months. That itself, once I see that product, and once that is being successful, if that is launched successful, that my thought is successful. So that itself, building a product from my thought itself, gives me immense pleasure and happiness. And least happy is that this domain does not have so many players. So if I get a doubt that is not available in internet, it will be very difficult for me to clear that doubt. It takes so many weeks for a single if previously I got some doubt in how to connect that SPI protocol to that network. So that simple task I did not find anywhere in the internet to how to do that. Normally there will be so much information available regarding to electronics, but when it comes to space science, very few material is available in internet. I wish so many, because there is so much potential in this regard. I wish so many people from different domains come to this and do more experiments in this domain. Then it will be a big community of space science enthusiasts.
You also get information more accessible.
Yeah, more accessible. More people, if more people are working on a particular task, there will be it will be easier for all the people who are working in that. So even I happen to be in contact with all these new startup founders in this regard. They all are like a close community, because it itself is a small field. So whoever is working in this field, they are actually very close, and they are active in that group.
So it helps you a lot.
Yes, it helps me a lot. If there is so much more information that is available, it will be helpful for the next people whoever is working in that. That is the difficult task.
So who inspires you to create new things?
Actually, if I say, it will be normal. Everybody in this field, whoever say, if you go to a space science enthusiast and if you ask for the first 3 inspiring people, they will talk about Kalam sir. So I read his books. He inspires me a lot. Not only as a space science enthusiast, he inspires me as a person. So when I read about him, what are the difficulties that he had faced, and how he had overcome that, all that inspires me a lot. So someday, if he along with a small team could build a rocket and can send that, along with great people like Vikram Sarabhai, they, as a small team, they build that and they send that. Why can't I build a small satellite and with a small team and send that to the space? That itself inspires me. Their story inspires me a lot.
Okay. So what is your dream project?
I just want to build a good space company with a good passionate people and send a constellation of satellites, small satellites to space for two-way communication.
Okay.
So right now I'm only sending one at a time. But in future, for commercial purposes and also for the research purposes, I just want to send constellation of satellites and bring the space science to as many institutions, as closer to as many institutions as well as I can.
Okay. So how does a constellation of satellites will help to people?
If we launch different satellites from different universities, it will be like every university, like every student in that university will have, if they work on the project, they will have a hands-on experience. If they do not work, they will at least get that inspiration on the space science. Like they get that just after attending a workshop. I got all this
got inspired and now you built a satellite on you.
Yes. So if this reaches to various institutions and various people, students, they will get a hands-on experience and they can actually work on different products. If we create products, instead of getting all the products from other countries, if we create products, not only just satellites, whatever the products, if we work on the products and if we create different products from different industries in our country itself, it will be very useful for the country. More employment, economy will be, it will be helpful for the economy. So it is not just about satellite and satellite technology. It is about building things in our own country by our own people.
So we wish you all the best, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
With that, it's a wrap. Please follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and the New Indian Express news app for more details. Thank you.